today, I'm getting ready to head to our fall photo shoot location where our team has already been setting everything up. And then I'll just make some final last looks and adjustments. I did a FaceTime with the team yesterday and it's looking really good. There's this deep blue library at this house and it was the exact color that I had on our mood board. And so I'm excited to use that as a backdrop. When I'm developing a mood for a collection, I pull a really wide array of imagery styles, from fashion to florals to city scenes or country scenes. In this latest collection, I had pulled this image of, a deep green, like barn jacket with a corduroy collar, and then a trench coat with this beautiful camel tone, and an image of a library, and some city scenes as well. This collection really embodies that juxtaposition between structured silhouettes and femininity. My job is visualizing the image of the girl walking on the street can have an impact on the decisions we make for the vase. And would that character that's in my mind pick up the vase for the collection? Fall is such a key season because we're transitioning from spending all of our time outdoors to dressing up our homes for holidays, entertaining, and house guests. And I am so excited to walk you through every room decked out in head-to-toe McGee Co. In true fall fashion, we have wreaths on the front door that speak to the season. And then you walk in and you are greeted by this gorgeous entryway vignette that is very timeless, and it has a lot of classic details and elegant simplicity. As we build a look, we start with a foundation of the largest pieces first. And in this space, it's the rug and the console. So this rug is our Conchetta rug, and you have seen me style this in many different types of spaces. And it sets the tone with a vintage inspired pattern and some grounding deep tones that tie in with pretty much every color that you pair it with. The console is our Peter console and the bench underneath. So this is our Macy bench, and it is in a slip covered shape. And you often see consoles with two ottomans tucked underneath or two baskets, but it's also a really great look to do one long bench. My recommendation here is that if your console has 4 legs like this does, then pick something that goes all the way to the floor so it doesn't become overly leggy. And you'll also see that one reason that we chose one long bench is because we grounded each end of the console with 2 chairs. And so then that allows us to have an odd number of items rather than pair and pair, especially because we have a pair of lamps. And we've used this gorgeous lamp that has a dark brown marble. And I love that that ties into the Conchetta rug, but then adds some saturation to this vignette. This moment is all about these awesome foraged branches. They are just cut from the backyard, and that's one of my very favorite looks in design. I think one of the signs of a thoughtfully designed home is a mix of sizes of artwork. I will often see homes where they feel a bit more novice in their decorating style and everything is a small picture frame. I love a small photo, I love a small art piece, but mix the scale throughout your home for more impact. Here we have this piece that is an abstract neutral, and it has this really nice texture throughout it, and you can see it just creates this really calming backdrop to the entire vignette, and then we've built forward. One of my favorite new pieces this season is this Suzanne mirror, and it has the prettiest molding around the outside. We've leaned it here. I could see it leaned in an entry over a piece of artwork. I could see it leaned on a kitchen shelf. I think it would look great in a vignette with stacked artwork below. If you're going for a relaxed, traditional look like this, start with a symmetry first so that you can ground each end of the vignette and then build from there and kind of throw things off a bit. So we mixed in the bench and this artwork. Those are big pieces that break up the symmetry, and then also adding in just kind of a collected mix of things that aren't perfect help you give that more lived in look. lastly, we have these really cute pillows on each end chair. They're tiny and cute and the perfect selection for a chair like this or a dining room end chair. It also comes in a larger size, and you will see that in the bedroom look. As we're walking into the living room, this space embodies everything that I envisioned for this collection. I wanted a deep saturated palette and a sophisticated look that also managed to feel warm and inviting at the same time. When we were designing this Agatha sofa, I had a few things in mind, and one was I had been on the hunt for a channel back sofa that didn't feel overly glam. And so we created that balance, and it's gorgeous, but I wanted to pare that back a little bit by adding these back cushions in front of the channel to tone everything down and keep it relaxed. Also, it makes it extra comfortable. Across the bottom is another one of my favorite details. Beyond the color of the sofa being this gorgeous velvet, we did this little arc. You can see this curved corner across the front of the sofa. And it's just those little details and that thoughtful touch that makes every piece that we design just go the extra mile. We have a new rug called our Campanella rug, and it has two things that I'm really excited about. One, a color palette that marries all of the tones that I'm loving this season. You have kind of these golden beige tones mixed with a deep blue. And then I love a faded effect in a rug because I think it just softens a space. Often when you see a vintage inspired motif down the center of a rug, it is just that. But we added this stripe detail down the center and is the perfect backdrop for our Phipps coffee table. The Phipps coffee table is the perfect size when you're looking for a good surface to style, but you don't have room for a huge footprint of a coffee table. We did a curved corner, which it's something I love aesthetically, but it also makes your room function a little better as well because you don't have a sharp corner in tight spaces. I'm always inspired by antique shapes and forms and then bringing them into the modern day. And I think that we got it just right. You get character and history and a lot of interest in your home. And then they pair with more streamlined shapes as well. If you don't have room in your home for an entire room dedicated to be an office, you can look for a space in your living room or bedroom where you can carve out an area to put a desk and create a vignette that works seamlessly with the design of your home, but also functions really well for you. We extended the Phipps coffee table into a desk shape, and it's the perfect size to go in a corner or next to a bed. It has good surface, but it is petite enough in its size that it's very versatile as far as where you can place it. So our Bonnell chair is a new shape for us, and I love it because you get this really sleek curve across the back that still has some padding so that you get a sleek effect, but it's really comfortable to sit in. I love that we have a bun foot on the Bonnell chair. The scale of this chair is great as well because it's substantial enough that it can stand on its own. You could put this in a corner, kind of at an angle up by the fireplace or in the corner of a bedroom, but it's also scaled down enough that you could put two side by side in a space that isn't a massive living space. We're really excited about our fall artwork collection. We have a lot of different mediums throughout. We couldn't show them all at one time, but we have a lot more for you to check out as well. This stacked open concept layout is a very popular setup. You got kitchen, dining, and living room. And then you're faced with how to pair all of the different tables and seating together in one space. And I'm gonna walk you through what our thought process was here. We've styled the kitchen with our Evander counter stool, and this stool is really versatile because it breaks up some of your wood tones. So we've got a lot of wood happening between the dining chairs, the table, and the Lanu console. And instead of adding yet another wood piece into the mix, it's nice to add some mix of the materiality. So Evander has these black legs, and then it has a linen top, and that linen top is a nice way to kind of just relate to the tones that are happening in this space, but it's not matchy-matchy. I fell in love with this fireplace that had this interesting arc at the top. And so you see that shape in our Phipps collection that we have in the living room, on the coffee table and the desk. And then we have our Wilton dining table, and it has these great curved corners. And then when you look underneath at the profile, it also has this great curvy shape. And I love that you're getting curves, but it still feels very simple at the same time. I'm excited to introduce our Shepherd dining chairs. They meet like every request that we ever get from clients. It's a substantial chair with a nice solid back and a very wipeable seat that has a cushion on it. So I wanted to create a bleached oak tone that could pair with different wood tones really easily. So you see that we have a classic oak tone on our table, and then we go bleached on the chair, and it works so seamlessly. I also am really excited about this light tan leather seat because it doesn't feel heavy. It's very durable, but it also looks light as well. So it's doing a lot of things. You've seen us style the Lanue several different times, and I love that it is a very versatile piece. It has grass cloth fronts and a wood top and base, and that combination works really well in this look because it ties together the light and the oak tones that you see on the table and chairs as well. I'm often asked, how do you style a dining table when it's not a formal floral arrangement? And yes, we have a really beautiful floral arrangement here, but I think some of the principles that I look for when pairing groupings on a dining table are usually a group of two, one a taller thing and a shorter thing. So maybe it's a larger vase and a bowl, a vase that looks good with or without flowers, and a bowl that looks good with or without, fruit or something in it. Then I will also look at a grouping of three, so potentially a pair of taper candles. Those look good unlit or lit, and then I'll pair them with something lower. So the candles become the higher thing, and then I'll place, a tray or a bowl next to it. And that's a pretty no-fail approach to getting a simple dining look that you didn't have to buy fresh flowers for. You can also see behind me a new pendant light that we just launched, and this is the Georgiana, and it's a drum shade here, but then we also have a sconce as well. And I was dying for some tiny pleats. I love a pleated shade, and I love when you can do it in a really classic, soft way that doesn't feel overly frilly. And so we developed this beautiful light fixture that has this great oval connection point and a round finial, and those same details are on the sconce. You may have seen our series on YouTube Around the Table. It has been so fun for me to mix my love of food and home all together in one spot. And I have shared my love for gathering entertaining pieces, probably borderline hoarding, I would say, but I find it so much easier to entertain when I have a cabinet full of beautiful things that I already have on hand, so I don't feel like I'm having to plan a party every single time I have people coming over to my home. So we have this beautiful new fall look. I feel like the tablecloth is an absolute must to add to my collection. I was really inspired by introducing new metal finishes beyond the classic brass, gold, and silver. And so you see this copper, and it has this really beautiful scalloped edge. And I love that it's a tone-on-tone look with these dark hemstitch napkins. Another piece that I'm really excited about, these placemats. They're actually a ring you can see here, and I like that. You've heard me talk about this before, but I love to add a textural, natural material into my entertaining looks because it just breaks up all of the metal and glassware in a really nice organic way. Every entertaining collection that we launch incorporates a bowl that can be a centerpiece for your look. And I'm in love with this bowl. It's the Joanne, and I love the mix of the gloss and the matte. Whether you're entertaining for two or having family and friends around your table, The principles for styling the table are the same, and I love to go for a nice balance between maximal and minimal. And for me, that maximal moment really happens with the tablecloth. So you're getting a bold pattern, and then you have some quieter moments, whether it's a simple plate or a solid napkin or these tiny taper candles. They add so much charm to any surface. We're in the final look of the fall photo shoot, and I'm excited to walk you around this bedroom space. This is our new Gilmore bed, and it's an all wood canopy bed with an integrated upholstered headboard. I love that we get this headboard so it's comfortable to lean against, but you're still getting the canopy effect with all of these beautiful posts. We were very intentional about how we designed the posts and the canopy stretchers across. So you can see that they have this really nice tapered effect and then a really interesting shape at the base. I love to use color as a neutral by selecting hues that have a muted look to them. So we have green, but it's a subtle green. We have blue, it's a subtle blue. And then same thing with our striped duvet and shams here. So we're getting color, but it still feels really calming in the space because of the shade that you're working with. You can see kind of how we've just done simple lumbars against the matching sham and duvet. And then the throw is the star here. And I am so excited about this. When we first received the sample, I was like, yes, no changes, let's do it. You get this really great fringe on the edge, and then you get a textural quality through the hand feel. So we get a nice pattern, but it's a neutral, so it pairs with everything. And then this is a bed-sized throw, so it extends over the edge and you get that nice straight. These pieces will work all year round in your styling, but the way we've paired them together definitely gives it a cozier feel. So we have the velvet on the pillows, and then we have velvet at the end of the bed, and then we get this texture on the throw. And so all of those textural qualities really lend to that comfort and inviting, effect that you'd hope for in the fall season. At the foot of the bed, we have our Asher bench, and it has this really great roll arm and then these coordinating bolster pillows that add a lot. I think this Asher bench with its more traditional shape against the bed here shows that you can mix these streamlined pieces with more traditional ones, and it totally works. I think it's all about that juxtaposition so that you can get interest in the spaces that you're designing. Behind me is our new Tellerbeck nightstand. And I love that you're getting that coordination, but the shapes are different enough that it doesn't feel like a matching set. I think that also by coordinating these wood tones, it gives you opportunity to do a dresser in a completely different shade of wood or material. Here, we did a really streamlined waterfall edge, but then when you look at it from the profile, you'll see that there's some rounded detailing here and also around the perimeter of the drawer. And you're just getting, it's like the perfect size. It goes with everything, and I'm really excited about this shape because I'm always looking for a nightstand that pairs well with lots of different styles of dressers and bed shapes. This is our new amphora lamp, and it was inspired by a vintage European jar, and you can see these cute little handles and the shape of those, and then it's got this dipped effect, and so you're getting the raw base and then a beautiful brown glaze on it, and it just has a really nice round shape so that it's filling the top of your nightstand. Over here we have a conversation area, and the Byron really sets the tone for every decision that we made in this space. And Byron is a really versatile piece for placement in a floor plan. We've used it straight on, but we've also tilted it at an angle. And a lot of sofas don't look good when you're placing them at an angle because they're too straight. But because of this really great kind of slope and the way it's shaped around the front, it works positioned at all different angles in a space. We've paired it with an organic shape contemporary coffee table. And I love that you're getting this really contemporary shape in a very heavily veined bold marble. And that's sitting next to an area that has a more traditional bench at the foot of the bed, and it totally works. And I think that makes your home feel personalized because it shows that you fell in love with a piece and you had the guts to go for it, and it works. And part of the reason that it works is because we get some familiar shapes between the Byron and the coffee table, and then also the tones and how they work together. So we get these rusty reds, and that ties in with the pillows, and then you get the neutrals in the tones of the marble, and that ties in with what's happening in the bedroom furniture kind of off to the side here. The seating area also works because we've incorporated more traditional chairs. Because it's a classic shape with a caster, it doesn't look like we placed all the contemporary furniture on one side of the room and then the traditional on the other. There's a mix of both on each side, and then that way that they can like just kind of speak to each other, and it all meshes together in a really cohesive way. When you have two rugs like this sitting side by side, there's a couple of things that I like to pay attention to, and that is organic shapes mixed with solid or clean lines, and then also having some point of connection in the color palette. And so you can see here that we've got this kind of slate blue tone and a gray in this rug, and that directly ties in to what's happening next to it. But if I had placed two vintage inspired rugs right here, I think it would be too much and they'd be competing with each other. The difference in material is also a really nice way to look at pairing two rugs in a space. So we've got the tufted on one side and then a flat weave on another, and that difference in texture and pile really helps set them apart. That wraps up our fall tour, and I hope you feel inspired and empowered to make bold decisions in your own home, because at the end of the day, trends come and go, but if you're picking things that feel personal to you and really just speak to you, they're going to have longevity.